Sometimes when you're always running after people, doing what they want to do or pleasing them just because you love them or really like them, you forget yourself in the process. You need to learn how to romanticize your desires, romanticize you as your own dream girl. How many times do we get into relationships and we're so dependent and put so much expectations on a man because a man got a da 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 da, but then you don't offer anything up other than your body. So I wanted to create myself so powerful and so self-assured, so independent that when I came together with a good high value man, that it was easy. One thing I took with me from my single days into my dating phase was just making sure that I always had soft music in the background, whether I was showering or cooking or just vibing out by myself. It was just setting the tone for when I'm about to go to bed, or if I'm getting ready for a date. I wanted to just make that vibe, make me feel like I'm that woman based on what I was listening to. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back. Along with those who are new here, my name is Shanice, and I create content on reinventing yourself while becoming your own dream girl. Not a cutout image of somebody else that you aspire to be like, but finding and seeking a deeper relationship with yourself. Today, I'm going to be talking about 10 things I did to prepare myself for love and romance. Manifest a really good man, manifest good relationships and good friendships in general while being single. Let's get into it. Number one, I learned how to romanticize my life and enjoy being single. I think oftentimes when we're single, we are on the hunt for love that we end up sacrificing or settling because we are afraid of being alone. I had spent 2 years on my own, not dating. I wanted to figure myself out. I wanted to learn about myself because coming out of a relationship, I had no idea where I like to eat, what I like to eat, what color I liked. I didn't really know much about myself because I was so infatuated by the person that I was dating. I was always attached to them. I was always with them. And sometimes when you're always running after people, doing what they want to do or pleasing them just because you love them or really like them, you forget yourself in the process. At the end of that relationship, it was really clear to me that I had really lost myself. I let myself go. I was not growing myself within that relationship, and it just taught me that I needed to pour into myself now that I was single, that I should actually be more excited for who I was about to become. And look at me now. Had I not gone through that experience, I would not be the woman I am today with so much on my palette that makes me so much more attractive and interesting. You need to learn how to romanticize your desires, romanticize you as your own dream girl. Lighting candles, taking yourself out on solo dates, not always with your friends. I know when we're trying to, grieve through a relationship, and it's kind of scary and sad when you planned a future or a life with somebody and it doesn't work out, and then you have to relearn, you have to pick up the pieces and rediscover or set new goals for where you would like to go with your life. And I think it's actually a blessing in disguise when things don't go your way, because God always provides a better redirection because it just wasn't meant for you. Maybe it was your season, but God wanted more for you. And I had to look at that. God wanted me to take the time out to learn about myself, to do more for myself and learn how to be independent because I was dependent. How many times do we get into relationships and we're so dependent and put so much expectations on a man because a man got a da 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 da, but then you don't offer anything up other than your body. So I wanted to create myself so powerful and so self-assured, so independent that when I came together with a good high value man, that it was easy. It flowed. The relationship just flows. He's good with being by himself. I'm good with being by myself. And when we come together, we're present and we're in love. And I had to make sure that I was just romanticizing every aspect and area of my life. And I got really comfortable with taking myself out to nice restaurants, sitting at the table. I've been in restaurants where I've come in by myself and the hostess would offer me the bar. Listen, I'm here to eat a burger in this beautiful dress while sitting at a table. I don't want to sit at a bar because I just want to sit at a nice table and sit with myself and not attract any masculine energies to me. If I'm sitting at a table, you know what I mean? I may be less approachable, but at the same time, it depends on what you're going out for. And sometimes you need to just take yourself out to just sit with yourself, journal, eat your food slowly, chew your food slowly, enjoy the flavors and savor the moment. Not everything is all about going out to be seen, to be heard, to be hit on. You need to build that confidence, like whatever is meant for you is going to come to you. You need to start romanticizing just being single and self-aware. And I do this even in my current relationship. I am just this girl in a relationship and out of a relationship now that also sets the tone to how men are going to treat me, knowing that I'm okay with being by myself. I can do a lot of things by myself. So you can't play with me. When I was romanticizing my life, I often did things like buying myself flowers, taking myself out to lovely restaurants. I would light candles when I'm making a bath. I know a lot of the times people like to emphasize on the wine, but if you just think about it, like you don't always have to sit in a tub with a glass of wine. You don't always have to romanticize everything you do with being intoxicated. Sometimes you just need to be aware of what's going on in your emotions and your feelings, what's around you by being present. And if you're intoxicated all the time or romanticizing being intoxicated, that's when you develop a bad habit. That's when you actually start to self-sabotage any progress, especially if you were going to the gym or if you were just trying to take care of yourself in general. I think we can pull it back and start to choose and let alcohol be a choice, not a requirement for everything that you do or touch. Which leads to number 2, you gotta date yourself. It's super important that you do take yourself out to nice places, that you go and spend money on yourself, that you buy yourself the nicest things. That taught me if I'm gonna spend this kind of money on myself, I expect to attract a man that can do the same, if not better, because so many times I was settling for the bare minimum because I was like, oh, he's so good looking, or, you know, he drives a sports car, or I was turned on by things that were not even internally beautiful or attractive about this person. I was more so infatuated with their outside aesthetics and settling for the bare minimum, when only realizing that if I took the time to focus on myself, work on myself, that I can always set the standard for what I attract, for what aligns with me. And I don't always have to be nagging somebody because they can't do a certain thing, or I don't have to look at somebody else's life and compare mine because I'm with somebody who can't do much for me. I would rather be able to set the tone for how I like to be treated based on practicing on myself. And also, if I treat myself nice, I'm going to obviously treat the people around me the way I treat myself. So it was important for me to learn how to date myself, how to treat myself, prepare for dates, get excited to be with myself and enjoy my own company. I went to the movies for the first time by myself, and that was very nerve-wracking. But at the end of it, I felt so proud of myself because it was so different. You know, we grow up, even as kids, we're going to the movie theaters, we're going for activities in groups and large amount of people. And when you get into your adult stage, it's actually harder to make friends. Then you feel in lack of, and you settle for low vibrational energies. And instead of developing and becoming really confident with yourself and being by yourself, then you become reliant on people being around you at all times. It's really good to become self-aware and self-assured that you can be by yourself and you can still enjoy your own company. You can still laugh with yourself and be present. And then when you come together with good people, then you are even more present and appreciative of those people. Sometimes we're around people and we take advantage of them. We abuse their time. We abuse them, and we don't even realize until they're gone that we probably mistreated them or we weren't really present with them in the moment because we were probably on our phone. We were doing this, we were doing that. until we no longer have access to them. How many relationships have we gotten out of and we're like, oh my God, I wish I spent more time loving on this person now that I don't have access to them. So it's super important when you're single or even in a relationship that you still take time to be by yourself so you can appreciate when you do come back and you are together and connected with the people that you love. Number 3 is going to be self-care. I was heavily on that self-care, making sure that I was always taking care of my skin, my face. I wanted to develop myself in a way where I started to feel confident and comfortable with my natural hair, with my with no makeup on my face, how I presented myself even while single or in a relationship. Oftentimes when we're in a relationship, we can get really comfortable and we can stop doing those little self-care practices because we're so comfortable. And so I wanted to make it a ritual that I had a morning routine, I had a night routine, I had a grooming routine, I have a nails done routine, hair done routine. So I'm always putting myself together because oftentimes we get so complacent because our partners accept us the way we are, but that's how you fall off. When people accept you where you are, then you'll just stay where you are. You'll never grow. But if you're constantly like trying new things and learning how to improve yourself and make yourself feel sexier and more softer and more feminine, then you'll be able to release your stress naturally by soothing yourself and not relying on other people. Self-care is super important to just bring you back to being centered. Self-care isn't only about your appearance, but how you take care of your peace, how you take care of your mind, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your energy, how you just take care of your internal self and soul, to bring it back to being center. And that is super important. One thing I took with me from my single days into my dating phase was just making sure that I always had soft music in the background, whether I was showering or cooking or just vibing out by myself. It was just setting the tone for when I'm about to go to bed or if I'm getting ready for a date. I wanted to just make that vibe, make me feel like I'm that woman based on what I was listening to. Number 4 is going to be I had to address my traumas, my triggers, and become more self-aware. Oftentimes we bring our baggages into our next relationships and we think that the person that we're with has to put up with us, has to put up with our attitudes, our traumas, our triggers, our baggage. Babe, you can leave that heavy suitcase at home and just be open with a new suitcase. Like, honey, I can hop on a plane tomorrow. I'm leaving that baggage. We need to heal from these traumas because a lot of the times you have no idea that you are set off and your triggers are right back into your current relationship that's actually hindering your growth and hindering the love that you can be receiving or giving. I had to really sit with myself and reflect. Also forgive. It's so important to forgive. Even though relationships may not work out for you, however they ended, if somebody cheated on you, disrespected you, or maybe it was you have to move on from that situation. And I had to reflect on things that I may have done wrong and hold myself accountable to the things that I needed to change. I needed to look at things that I could have done differently, or now I have the opportunity to learn so I don't make that mistake going forward. I don't bring that baggage and that emptiness going forward. I had trust issues. I had a lot of trust issues, and I had to work on not putting that on my partner who is very loyal. So I had a problem, right? We all have things that we're carrying from our past, whether it's from, our parents whether it's from childhood or from a relationship or say school. You have to deal with a lot of these demons and detach yourself from the emotion of it and just know that it was a part of your past. It doesn't make you and it doesn't create your new relationship. You can let it go and be free from those shackles and literally be more excited for who you're about to become. I have used my pain and my struggles and my obstacles as fuel to motivate me to become better, to always want to evolve, to want to be good to other people, especially my man and my family. So I've used all of that to not hold baggage, but more so fuel me and remind me that I can overcome a lot of things that I think I can't, and you can. And also, you really want to work on your communication skills. It's really important for you to just look back at yourself and hold yourself accountable. I honestly hate when people are blaming other people in relationships and not holding themselves accountable to nobody is perfect. We all mess up, you know, whether you didn't do the cheating or somebody else cheated on you. We all are guilty of something, and we all have something that we can fix. And communication is one thing that we all can work on, where we can just always be open to talk. If your partner sucks at communicating, you can talk with them, but if they are not open to being a communicator, then we're clearly dating the wrong people, because that is when we're going to feel in lack of our feelings being heard, and that's when turmoil starts and fights start. And you seriously don't need it. I've been there. I didn't like it. I'm not going back. Number 5 is going to be self-discovery adventures, traveling solo. And I've told a few of my clients, because they've been in their 30s, 40s, when I tell them, hey, I've been traveling by myself, they're like, girl, really? Were you scared? Of course you're going to be scared when you're traveling by yourself, but if you do the proper research, you can put yourself in very safe situations most of the time, like 99% of the time. The world is here for you to explore. You don't always need people around you. You can even explore in your city or an hour from your city. There's many things that you can do by yourself. Oftentimes, people are so afraid to do anything by themselves, much less wipe their booty. Like, you need to go out and put yourself in uncomfortable situations and explore the world. You know, when you're traveling with people, you're traveling to share the time, to share the schedule. When you're traveling by yourself, you get to wake up when you want to. You get to put anything on your itinerary that you personally wanted to do. We get so comfortable with people beside us all the time. And I had to prepare myself to know that at the end of the day, I'm always going to have me. But like, God put me on this earth for me to still continue to rediscover myself and always seek opportunity, always seek adventure, and get really comfortable and confident within myself to be by myself. You have to venture out. You have to go and book that flight, book a reservation, to go and put yourself out there. You never know who you're going to meet. And if you keep sitting in the same city, the same seat, in the same situations, you are not ever going to meet new people, new energies, if you keep doing the same thing or closing your mind off to a new experience because you're afraid. Do something. No risk, no reward. No risk, a boring storybook. Like, you got to really just put yourself out there. You are too beautiful to be sitting at the same spot with the same mindset for life and not exploring and having your own adventures. Like, I've done my own adventures and I've had so much fun, met so many people all by myself, and it just taught me that I'm always going to be good. Like, I loved my solo adventures, and I still have more to come. Number 6 is going to be absorb positive content. I'm talking about podcasts, I'm talking about books, I'm talking about the music that you're listening to, what you're watching. I know a lot of the times we get into these housewives, these reality shows, and they're just so much drama. I know I've watched the Bad Girls Club, I've watched probably every housewife, a lot of things, okay? And honestly, if you just look at it, it's just watching somebody's life unfold in chaos, and I'm not sure why we support it. And sometimes I think that a lot of people watch it, including when I was watching it, because I had no drama in my life, so I wanted to see drama in front of me. It's super important. We are careful with what we consume, because sometimes we're trying to reenact what we've seen. That includes with pornography. You got to be careful how much of what you're taking in to what you're trying to recreate in your reality. Become aware. You need to become aware of what you're consuming. And is it positive? Is it making you feel good? Is it refilling your cup? Is it uplifting you? Or do you just still feel drained and unfulfilled, or you feel in lack of, or you feel like you need to go out and find a partner? And then you end up finding empty relationships. Then you find empty one-night stands that just don't work for you, that just end up leaving you unfulfilled. During the time of me being by myself, I was consuming a lot of podcasts. I'd be listening to motivational speakers from the Quote of the Day show by Sean Croxton. I will drop the link here and you guys can check it out. It's under 10 minutes of motivational speaking, and it honestly changed my life. You have Les Brown on there, Mel Robbins, so many different speakers that you probably know, under 10 minutes that can just change your life. And sometimes And most times I was like, wow, I needed that today. I needed that motivation. And then I started reading books. Books really helped me develop more knowledge, to add more value to myself, learn more about myself, build more foundation and structure over my life, and also set boundaries so that I was treated differently based on building myself. And it's just super important for you to become aware of what you're consuming often. I spent less time on social media and more time with books, anything that could just educate me and fill my cup to make me feel like I'm that woman, instead of consuming content that was just draining, dramatic, or people I just didn't want to be like, which are the women on reality TV yelling at each other like they have no class or sense. I also got into journaling and my gratitude book. I started out with my gratitude book and then I fell off, but I kept the habit of practicing gratitude out loud. I was verbally speaking in gratitude, or I switched my mindset to now look around me and change my perspective based on practicing gratitude. I also had made many vision boards within the 5 years that I've been making vision boards. And I really started manifesting the dream life that I wanted, including the man that I desire to be with, and the qualities of the man that I was looking for to be in my life that matched my standards as I was raising them. It was super important for me to start reflecting on what it is that I wanted in my reality and who is my dream girl. And I always relate back to who's my dream girl, so that all decisions that I made, who I was becoming in the process, aligned with who I wanted to become. Here I am 5 years later. Number 7 is going to be know what you want, what aligns and what doesn't align. But in order for you to know what doesn't align and what aligns, is for you to know what you truly want in life. And I had to take the time to sit down and lay out my life of what are my goals? Where do I want to be? What do I envision for myself? So when I come together with my future love, then we either align or we don't. And when you go on dates, you'll be able to sit with people and ask them questions. And if they can't answer it, or if they are lying, you can tell, you can read them. I needed to get clear with my own direction. I think a lot of the times we are not on our own path. We're so focused on living for the expectations of others, for what they're going to think, for their opinion. We're living for our parents. We're living to be pleased or loved by a certain someone or a crush, that we have no goals or targets over our life. Or we get into a relationship and we forget about our own targets, that we're following somebody else's, and then when that relationship doesn't work out, we're lost. And that's what happened to me. I needed to get really clear of what I wanted for myself, what I wanted to see in my goals and my life, in my reality, what I wanted to create for myself. And then when I met my person, what we could combine and do together. It was super important for me to get really focused on what I wanted for myself. Because if you don't know what you want for yourself, you will accept what somebody else gives you, what somebody else tells you. You will accept the direction that somebody else is going just because you're infatuated with them. And I needed to get really clear with, what does Shanice want? What do you want in 5 years? What do you want in 10 years? It's crucial for you to know what you want, because when you sit at the table with these men, you need to be able to hear what they want. And if it doesn't align with you, then you know they're not your person. Sometimes we're forcing these relationships. We're forcing people to have kids. We're forcing people to travel. And they didn't want it in the beginning. You know what I mean? You need to be really clear with what you want. Hear other people out. And if they didn't want it, or they're not open to the change, they're not your person. I don't care what job they're in. I don't care how good looking they look, what they're driving. You need to understand, if they don't match or align with you, your goals, your future, your alignment, they're not meant for you. Number 8 is going to be set boundaries. It's so important to have boundaries, ladies, and set the standard for how people treat you. If somebody is disrespecting you, and they are always disrespecting you, let me give you an example. If somebody cannot understand when you say no, or they're too pushy, they're not meant for you. And oftentimes we are just settling, or we're giving off easy vibes that people will take advantage of you. They'll manipulate you, they'll abuse you, they'll try to use you on the first date. You need to set boundaries and a foundation. For me personally, I don't go on dates for drinks. Like my first date to my third date, like no dates are with drinks. I don't want you to be intoxicated so you can feel comfortable. I want you to be present in the moment. And oftentimes, if you're intoxicated, you're not present in the moment. You're not even comfortable to sit down to get to know the real me if you're intoxicated. Vice versa, whether you're a female or a male, to set boundaries of what you don't like, what you do like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, the days you're available. Stop stretching your schedule because you're lonely or because you're bored. Fill your schedule up with things that fill you up, and especially within your free time, make sure you're always giving back to yourself. Always giving back to yourself. If it doesn't serve you or aligns with you, stop saying yes to it. A lot of you guys have health goals, have fitness goals, have nutrition goals, have body goals, and you're saying yes to things that don't serve you. Why are you going out so late on a date when you could have gone earlier in the afternoon? First of all, some people save you for later because they were doing other things with other women earlier on in the day. Like, baby, if you really wanted to get to know me, you would make sure that I'm the first thing you're thinking about first thing in the morning, because you don't want to lose me. You want to go on a date. You got to be persistent with me. You got to really set the tone, set the foundation, and say no and say yes. Make sure you're in control, especially right from the beginning. Especially in the beginning, you got to be in control, because people will play with your time. They'll play with your kindness. They'll play with who you are. Number 9, I had to build my confidence. If you haven't already watched my 2 videos on building confidence, I'll have them linked below in the description. Such great videos for building confidence, from being insecure to confident. Developing confidence comes with time. Nobody can really teach you. It's a kind of practice that is based on self. You literally have to fall in love with yourself, that nobody can throw you off guard, that nobody can change how you feel about yourself, that nobody can control you, manipulate you, make you feel less than, belittle you. You have to get so confident with yourself that you're okay with saying no. You got to be confident with not settling. You got to be so confident with yourself that you don't let people waste your time, play with you. You got to be confident from the jump. You don't have to open your mouth to come off confidence. The way you carry yourself, what you exude, will then show how confident you are. And being confident and putting effort into yourself is the main attraction. It is so attractive. You will stand out when you can carry yourself like you are already that woman. Like you are okay if people don't like you. Like you're okay with vibing by yourself. Like everybody else has to adjust to you. And lastly, number 10, I had to improve my wardrobe. And when I go outside, sometimes I'm looking at the streets and I'm like, why are your shoes dirty? Why are there stains and rips all over your clothes? Especially if you're single. Whether you're single or in a relationship, you should just always be taking care of yourself. Nobody should have to dress you. Nobody should be telling you, or reminding you to clean your shoes or just take care of yourself or your appearance. That should be your focus in general, to just always be improving your looks, doing your makeup a different way, doing your hair a different way, playing around with colors, not always wearing gray and black, because girl, I wear a lot of gray and black. It's crazy. So I've been wearing a lot of colorful clothes in my wardrobe, and it just makes me feel like I'm that woman. Also makes me pop and stand out because everybody else is wearing their blacks and grays. You really want to treat yourself like you are that woman. Based on how you dress, you will either stand out or you will be the last pick. So choose wisely. Wear outfits that complement your shape, that exude the confidence that you want to give out. Find your own style. It's super important within this time to find your own style. Don't try and keep up with trends. Play around with yourself. Play dress up with yourself. Do you remember when you were like 10 years old and you would play dress up with yourself and you were just so free and open to try everything? Honey, that is exactly where we need to go with this. We need to be always exploring and adding more pops. Play with some perfume, play with some body oil. I want you to be in your feminine era of just feeling you and your confidence. What do you radiate? What do you radiate and what do you exude, especially on this journey of becoming your own dream girl? What does she exude and what does she want to radiate? Ladies, thank you so much for another insightful video. I love having you here and I hope these tips were helpful. Don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the post notification bell for when I drop the next video. I love you guys.